Hello, the tube of views. YouTube. Hey. Okay, so. You get tired of hearing that. So. I need some better words. I think my vocabulary needs to expand just a little bit. It's morning. It is 8:20 in the morning. I am working on things. I have a lot going on. Hopefully, some of this will be entertaining. That's the goal, right? I am trying to build a YouTube channel here. I'm trying to gain some level of, I don't know if you call it success or just reach. I think reach is probably more important than what I would value as success at this point. But while I'm here, and while I'm moving along in things, I think it's cool to just bring you updates. I don't know, if you like updates, tell me. If not, I mean, I'm not going to be surprised if my build videos or my, other project videos get more views than things like the channel updates or my philosophy videos, which basically just amount to me talking and occasionally editing in a photo or two here and there. But life exists in all different forms, and so, as I stated at the beginning of this channel, is my intention to capture as much of it on film as I possibly can and filter down the stuff that's good and put it out there. Right now, let me tell you what I got going on. So I'm going to do some more practicing with the boxes and the wrapping and the materials. We had a good start with the last project, and as you can see, I've got it sitting back here. I wasn't joking. I'm definitely keeping that because it was a great starting point. It was a great reference, and it helped sort of motivate some new ideas and sort of get me moving on some new ideas for the projects that I've got ahead of me. If you watched my other channel update, you'll know I have a festival coming up soon. We're going to be taking the products that we have to that festival, but in the meantime, we're trying to order new parts to build a variety of speakers for the next festival. So we're not just planning for the one now, we're planning for the one ahead of that one. But while we do that, I have to basically plan the builds in my head before I order the parts. And it may be easy if you just want to build multiples of the same thing. But that isn't what I do. Of course not, BG. You couldn't just come up with one idea and leave it at that. You had to go and muck about and make everything special. Well, yeah, that's kind of what it is. So what I usually do when it comes to building boom boxes, I try to find a formula that works. I find a battery system that's reliable, good, and that I can purchase it frequently. I find an amplifier system that's good, low noise, quality. I try to find speakers and tweeters and crossovers and things that sound good to me, passive radiators. Try to find good supplies. The catch is, though, that you have to be able to purchase them over and over and over and over again. So what never changes once you get that figured out, you try to keep the sauce the same, right? You can put it in whatever plate or dish you want, but the sauce stays the same. And so that's kind of what my philosophy has been up until this point in terms of like what I think about how I build things. Find the recipe that works, and the aesthetics can be whatever they want. And this has led to me having to sort of figure out what I want those aesthetics to look like, because I'm ADD as heck. Okay, alright, I'm trying to cut down on the swearing. I'm sorry, I'm trying to make this channel more, but anyways, apart from all that. So, I'm ADD. Building one speaker continuously over and over for the next 20 years is not appealing, and I doubt that it's going to be very exciting to the general public at large for me to continue to do the same thing. And maybe there's safety or stability in doing something like that. But think of this more in the line like you would think of a clothing designer or something like that. They're not going to make the same sweater every year, you know. They're going to change their lineup. They're going to change their color palettes to kind of go and roll with the times or whatever the inspiration of the creator was. And that is, I think, where I am with this. And I've said before, I'd like to be, the ultimate goal being like, I want to be the West Coast Customs of boomboxes. I want to be the Orange County Choppers of boomboxes. I want to be the Chip Foose, the Bitchin' Rides, all the people who I can think of in my head who are able to just fabricate things out of their mind and turn them into physical, incredible products and incredible pieces of engineering. That's what I want to do, and that's what I want to do with this. However, I'm limited. I'm a limited human being, and I am self-aware enough to realize my limitations while also, motivated enough to try and push through some of them, or as many of them as I can. But that's part of the fun. That's part of the enjoyment of why I do this, because it keeps me fresh while also pushing the boundaries, and that's something that I feel like I have to do with this. So that's why I think I'm going to be doing more of this one particular size, and this is something I haven't done in the US, the Pilgrim. Now, I don't know if you know, most of my products have names. I like to have names for my products because, everybody has names for their products, right? Like, when I first started out, my first boombox, I'll put a picture here, it was called the Scum Class. And it was called the Scum Class, one, because I was a big fan of Top Gear. And they had put at they did a special where they made a train out of cars and camping caravans, and they'd put them all on train rails, and so they had first class, second class, and then they had Scum Class, which was like the least fancy of the bunch. It was the one that they put the least concern and effort into. And when I first got into it, I felt like that. I was like, I'm a broke piece of garbage. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have any right to be doing this. So I'm going to call this the Scum Class. Now, what I ended up doing was I learned from that because it was more successful than I expected it to be. So then I took that exact idea and I improved upon it, and I made the next level up, which was called the Genesis. And Genesis it's self-explanatory in the way that it was like, the Genesis is the beginning. This is where it started. So the Genesis got its name because that was the perfected version of the Scum Class. It was like, we have taken this idea and we have made a cohesive idea out of it, and this idea exists solely on its own, but it's also the building point which takes us further. And after that, several variations of the Genesis came about, but the sauce stayed the same. So we had a certain selection of parts that I was like, these parts always work together. And so long as I keep some parameters very similar, I will get similar results in each time. So I started experimenting with ways to slice it up. I'll cycle through some photos here, let you kind of get the idea for where that idea went and how it took off. One of the problems that I encountered early on is I had come up with a design for a small mid-size, a good mid-size speaker, and I was really happy with what I was able to come up with. I liked the sound, I liked the price point, I liked the I guess I really liked that it was customizable to a large degree. And then one day the speakers disappeared off the market. I couldn't buy them anymore, and I didn't have the money or the time really to invest in the research and development needed to find replacements for all that stuff. So I stuck to the sauce that was known and continued to go down that route. so far as as long as people were buying it, I was going to keep doing it. But there was always that sort of nag in the back of my head, like, you could probably make sales as well if you had something that was smaller and more compact and still had a pretty good, decent punch to it, and people would buy that. And so it always stuck in my head of like, I've got to be able to do this. I need something that fits in this category, because it just seems like a tragedy for me not to. The good news is we finally found, but we did the time, right? So we're here in Germany. I spent the first couple of years, refining the workshop, making sure that I brought the knowledge with me that from everything that I learned when I was starting this out in the US. The hope was that I would come to Germany, set up the shop, start cranking out products, and get out there and start doing the thing. Well, it didn't work out that way. A few months after we got here, the Corona thing kicked in, and I basically just stayed stuck at home for the last couple of years. The last couple of years, however, I spent not just necessarily completely idle. I spent that time in research and development and putting together parts for the Pilgrim, the revival of the Pilgrim. And what Google's definition of the Pilgrim is one who journeys to foreign lands. And that's me. I journey to foreign lands. That's what I do. I'm here. I'm an American living in Germany. The Pilgrim is going to be the one that I lean heavily on here, because Europe is different than America. Surprise, surprise. Everything is smaller here. And so while I'm used to building for Americans gigantic systems with incredible numbers in any direction, it's just one of those things that I could never build it crazy enough for the American market. There was never really a limit to how big and stupid do you want to get with this, because if you decide one day you wake up, you want to build a boombox the size of a car with like 20-inch speakers, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, it's silly, but the thing is in the US, I would have a buyer for that instantly. Europe is a different animal. Now, one of the interesting things is, in public, I have seen more boomboxes here in public than I saw in public in the US. The difference, though, is everyone here has them portable. In the US, you think about, you want to go on a cool barbecue afternoon or something, like you pack everything up in the SUV, you pack the coolers, you pack the lawn chairs, the whatever, you put all that stuff in the car, you drive to your destination, you set up shop, and then you kind of occupy a space, your friends, your family, you barbecue at a park, whatever. It's different here, right? Because you're not doing that. You are packing everything that you can carry either in your backpack or like, and you take anything that you could carry like on foot or on a bicycle. That's what you got. And the Pilgrim is kind of one of those, like, it would fit that. It's small enough that you could throw it, you shoulder strap it, put it in a backpack or something like that, good to go. But my other products, not so much. But what we're doing here, since we've got a few of the big boys already, we figured what we're going to do this time around is we're going to lean right into these Pilgrims. And it's really strange for me to be building all medium-sized speakers, because it's not something I've ever done before. But we're going to push really hard into the aesthetics of these, and with what we learned off of this build back there, we've got some fantastic ideas. It is going to push the price of these things up, but I think that we're also increasing our quality because we continuously learn new things, and we're pushing the boundaries of what this platform can handle. So I'm really excited about that. Update on the scooter thing. It's dead for now. It's dead for now just because I'm putting all of the effort and money into this right now. And then once we start generating some traction, once we start getting life moving again, I'll be able to put actual time and money into building the scooter life, because that's something that I want to do as well. Custom hatchbacks is something look, I'm in Europe. Now, I'm an American. I'm weird as an American. I guess maybe that translates. Most Americans are weird. I guess that's kind of part of the culture. But I have always liked compact hatchbacks. I don't know why. It's silly. It's just like, why do I like scooters? It's silly. I'm aware of the silliness of it. However, I enjoy it because it's cheap fun. It's fun, it's cheap. Those two things, to me, are invaluable. Well, you actually could put a value on that. They do have specific dollar amounts. But the good news is those dollar figures are low. And so the bar to entry for that kind of fun is low. It's almost like the cheat codes for life. In my humble opinion, right? Like, I believe, maximizing fun with the least amount of expense, right? I don't think I would have as much fun, right? I don't think I would have as much fun wrenching on, a Ducati or a Mercedes as I would like, a cheap Renault Twingo or a like a Mazda hatchback or something silly, or a Volkswagen. I think I would have more fun because just like I had fun building this, it's because if something goes wrong, one, the parts really aren't that expensive, and two, like, if something goes wrong, then you aren't out a whole bunch of money, because that, to me, minimizing your losses is really important. It's just as important, probably is not, if not more important than like making good choices. Minimizing your risk and your losses, like that's where it really becomes real for me, because I freely admit I'm a man who makes poor choices. Lots and lots of poor choices. I'm willing to bet that in this list of things that I'm taking a risk on for the upcoming events, there's going to be some duds in here. And that's just how it is. There always is. But you don't know until you find out. And this is one of those things where we don't know yet. Because although we've been here for a couple of years and we think we've got a good handle on things, we haven't been in the public enough to know, what are the Germans going to buy? What are they going to gravitate to? When I was in America, we lived in Tennessee, and we lived in Nashville, but we lived sort of in the outskirts of Nashville, and that's where we would do most of our events. When we would go to places like Franklin, things like that, they had a thing that they always gravitated towards. Anything that was rustic, shabby, or the kind of like a vintage style, anything that was, heavily like stained woods and things like that. Those are the things that they wanted to go for. Because they accented the way that their homes looked. Europeans have a thing where they're still on that like modern minimalist kick. And while I appreciate it sort of, because I used to want to be like that, I've personally moved on from that. And I think that maybe Europe will come along eventually. It's probably not going to happen anytime soon. They really like that modern look here. Unfortunately, it also comes with a lot of dainty stuff. Like they're still on the particle board, like flat pack furniture kind of. I don't really like that. That's not really my thing. So we'll see if there's even any place in German culture for beefy American boombox. We'll see. So that's the risk we're going to take. However, that's just what I can do, right? That's what I've been doing for the last couple of years, and we were considerably successful from about 2017 to 2019. We had a really good run, and there's no reason for me to think that it's a worthless endeavor. It's probably a daunting and difficult endeavor, but definitely not worthless. And I don't think I'm at the point where I'm ready to throw in the towel just yet, because I'm having fun with it, right? I'm still having fun with it. There's still pieces of me that need to come out. So that's where I'm at. that's where we're at with this, and I think that pretty much sums up everything that I want to get to today. So we're going to be building a lot. I've got on tap about 11 units, and any more that I can squeeze in there. Maybe I'm hoping to get maybe one or two larger, bulkier, kind of in-your-face builds, but I don't know if it's going to be in the cards this time around. I'm putting together these shopping carts, and it's starting to look pretty scary. So this is the nerve-wracking part of doing this, is trying to. You basically have to. You got to build these speakers twice or 3 times sometimes even. You got to build it in your head, and then while you're building it in your head, you have to imagine you have to think about every part that you think you're going to need. If you picture a box in your head with speakers in it, you have to imagine, like, well, what did you put on that? How many screws did it take to hold in the faceplate, the speakers? What type of screws did you need to hold in, handles, shoulder strap brackets, all sorts of the feet. The feet require screws. The box, how thick is the wood? The wood costs money as well. The leather that you use on the outside, the fabric that you use is on the faceplates, everything, the stain, everything has a number. And when you mix up your styles like this, you end up with you really end up with a big number, and it's not a one-to-one thing, right? Because you're gonna, like, if I'm gonna buy a material that I think is gonna be great for wrapping on some of these projects, it's not gonna be just one speaker, but I still have to buy a full chunk of it just to build one speaker. And so you have to figure out a way to spread that out, and so that's kind of where we're at. But that makes it stressful, but it also means up front I can't buy as much stuff as I want to. But the good news is we don't have to live off BSD right now, so BG gets to work on growing the company, work on growing my lifestyle, and work on trying to get people involved in it, because I'm not just selling boomboxes. I'm trying to sell a lifestyle, and because I like the things that I like, and it would be great if other people like the things that I like as well. I'm sure those people are out there. I know those people are out there. I just don't ever get to talk or see them. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed some of this content. This is a challenge for content creators because I'm at the beginning of my channel. The channel has just started. I got a few videos out. I got about 15 subscribers. So thank you to all 15 of you and the that have subscribed, and the 5 that actually watch my videos. Excuse me. But I want you guys to know that I care. I am here. I am engaged in this. I'm dead serious. So, but the thing is though, I still have to put out quality content, even though my view count and my follower count is very low. Otherwise, that number doesn't grow. So if I just stop giving a shit and start putting out garbage content, then the channel will probably die. But I don't want that to happen because there's so many great YouTubers out there, and I feel like I can throw my hat in the ring with them. I'm not a stranger to YouTube. I won't even get into some of my past with YouTube, but this is my first time doing things that I like, as opposed to getting involved in the things that I don't like. And I don't want to talk about that right now at all. I really just want to enjoy the fact that we're here doing things that are awesome, and I want to continue to be awesome, and I want you to be awesome with me. So that's what I got for you today. Thank you for coming to my video today. Please consider liking and subscribing and sharing. I know that, I always told myself I'm not going to be a beggar. I'm not going to beg. I'm not going to beg for likes and follows, but I would like a good little helping hand to get started, and then I'll stop bugging people about it. Once I reach, I don't know, whatever generic number, once it starts to feel like the channel's got legs, I'll just keep it quiet and I won't be begging for likes or follows. But I think the time is now to start putting in the work, to start putting in the dedication to you as a listener and audience that, that'll keep you guys coming around and not just waste your time with BS. So I hope this has been helpful. I'm excited. I really am. I'm really excited for this project. I cannot wait. I really cannot wait to bring you along. The build videos are going to be a scream. You're going to love them. Hopefully you're going to like some of the products. I guarantee you won't have seen anything like it before. So with all that out of the way, thanks again for coming out and checking out BG's channel. Have a good day. See y'all in the next round.